Shop Creepy Tutorials.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Monster Shop. My name is Bob and we got a cool thing today we're going to work on. Just a little DIY custom video, a custom prop we're going to make for you guys to show you guys that you don't need to have expensive tastes or expensive things to have some cool Halloween props. This stuff is stuff that I had laying around. One of the things I have is was going to be garbage, but I didn't want to throw it in the garbage because I could use it for something. So we have a pool, and the pool filter itself broke. It sprung a leak. So I had to get a new pool filter, and I was stuck with this big ass sand filter that I didn't know what to do. It was heavy plastic. I was going to recycle it, but I don't know if they would take it. So I kind of had it in my shed, and I was looking at it, and I'm like, I could make something cool out of this. So, you know, what I want to do is try to make a Witches Cauldron out of it. I'm going to cut the top off of it and, you know, melt it up a little bit if it works. And then, you know, paint it black or whatever. And then, you know, add some cool things to it. You know, make some charcoal on the bottom with some lighting. This was a cool build. I built this maybe 5 years ago or so. It's basically made out of spray foam. You know, I'm actually going to use some of this logic into our build today. That's why I brought this out to show you guys. I'm going to turn it on just so you can see it. I put a light in here, red light, and I have LED lights in the bottom of it that you can turn on. I don't know if you can pick up with the camera with the lights on, but in between all the coals in here, it lights up red. You know, it doesn't flicker or anything, it's just like a nice ember burn. So it looks really cool at night. What we're gonna do is build the cauldron today, and I'm gonna use this spray foam for the base, and I'm gonna use the same logic for the coals. So I got some lights, I got some you know, flickering lights and so forth. I think it's gonna look really cool. So before we start, I want to just give a quick shout out to all the new subscribers that joined the channel. It means the world to me that you guys are liking my content and subscribing to the channel. Without your support, I know this would be nothing. I really, really, really hope you guys like the content I'm putting out and stay around. You know, I plan on doing this all year around, even past Halloween. I want to do some unboxing videos and you know, some other tutorials and so forth. I love doing it, and I never thought that I could do something like this out of building props, you know, which I've done, you know, pretty much most of my life, my adult life. I've always loved Halloween, and I just spit all over the fucking place. Shit. All right, I just spit all over the place. I really love Halloween. It means the world that I get to spend my time building this cool stuff down in my house, in my monster shop down here. I just love creating cool stuff. I love seeing props that people make. The best thing about prop building is everybody has their own style. Some people like gory, some people don't like gory, some people like classic horror, vintage horror. Some people go big, some people are detail oriented. All in all, whatever you build, it's definitely cool. It's definitely worth it. It's supporting our haunt industry. You know, it's just so cool to see people get together over a common niche that, like, you know, everybody loves. So the best thing about Halloween is building the props, the scenery, the fall, the weather, the smell of fall, Halloween time. I live up in the northeast section of the United States, so we get to experience fall in its true glory with all the colors, the beautiful colors of the trees, the nice cold fall air. You know, it's really cool when it comes to that time. Right now it's hot as hell here, but you know, that's why I hang out in the basement all the time, because it's cool down here. So if you guys build props, or if you have old props that you'd like to show me, please post them on my Facebook page. I have a Facebook page with the same name, Monster Shop Creepy Tutorials. Go over, like the page. You know, send me some pictures of your haunts or your props you made. I'd really love to look at them. So anyways, I'm not going to bore you guys with all my spiel. Here's the project for the day. So my pool just broke, and this little sucker sprung a leak. So it's got a crack in the side. So I don't want to throw it out because, you know, it's just going to land in a landfill. So what do? Make a Halloween prop out of it. So I think we're going to try to do a quick build of a Witches Cauldron for this one. See how it goes. Like I said, I don't like throwing stuff away ever, so if I can use it somehow, I'm going to try to make something cool out of it. This is an old sand filter from a pool, and it's very thick plastic. So what I did already is I just cut off the drain plug here, and on the bottom there was a little nib on the bottom of this. I just cut it off really quick, flat. That way, if you want, you could actually throw in a light in there. That's what I was getting at. So I think what we're gonna do is eventually put a light in there, whether it be a flickering light or like a green LED lights or something like that, or a red LED light to make it look like stuff's boiling. That might be pretty cool. So what we're gonna do here is clean it up here, but first things first, what I have to do is actually cut this off. I'm gonna drill a hole into the side of this sucker just to see how thick it is, and then I'm gonna try to cut around it. All right, I got the pilot hole drilled, and as I suspected, it is really, really, really thick. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a marker and just mark around where I wanna cut it. Just randomly took the jigsaw out and wanted to cut this off. So as you can tell, this is very thick plastic. I'm hoping my heat gun will melt it and I can pull these edges off and make it, the shape I want it to. I think it's gonna turn out pretty cool. Then we can paint it up and do some other cool stuff to it. So now I noticed that, this unit is very kind of wobbly. There are stands on the bottoms of it, but it kind of wobbles all around the place and stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I noticed that you could actually take this that you cut off and put it on top of there, and it actually takes care of your wobbliness. So I'm not worried about this because eventually this is going to be covered with foam. We're gonna make some foam here with that spray foam, and then so it looks like charcoal, on the cauldron and stuff. So I think we'll be good here. So this will actually make it stable while we melt this sucker up. So here's a quick status update on the progress. I tried a heat gun at first, and it was just too thick. It wouldn't work. So I had to go a little bit high powered here, and I got the old trusty torch out here, and that did the trick. You could tell by this lip here, I just started heating it up a little bit, and I was able to mold it into where I want to go with it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get some cold water into a water bottle. I'm going to go outside because I don't want to be inhaling all these toxic fumes. So I just tested it out right here. I had the garage door open a little bit just to see if it would work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and get the rest of this all heated up, fold it over to where I want it, and then I'm actually thinking about taking the torch and getting rid of all this. You never know. Maybe I'll keep it on, but we'll see how it goes. But so far, it's working pretty good. I'm actually impressed. It's actually working the way I wanted it to. We've moved to plan B. We moved outside so that we don't get killed by these fumes, and we actually have fire protection since we'll be using the torch to heat everything up. Here is the finished product. I think it looks friggin' awesome. Everything worked out perfectly with the heat. The lip, it just looks really cool. Like it's been sitting on the fire for the longest time, and it's been, melting the cauldron. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to get some of this off and try to maybe make it look a little more distressed throughout the whole thing. This hole I think I'm gonna use so that might be the back of it, and we could probably like zip in a line for a fog machine too if we wanted to get some smoke in there. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are. This is the final product. Looks like everything worked out great. I'm keeping that little bottom plate there just so that I can have a plate that it could sit on the bottom. I'm just gonna take some screws, I think maybe, and screw it in there. We are back in the monster garage for now. Everything's up here now. I just screwed on the bottom cap right into the supports on the bottom so that it will stay. Gonna flip it over now just to see. It's pretty sturdy. It worked out perfect. I think it looks really cool. Look at some dripping action there. That's probably the coolest looking section right there I'll probably do. This just is showing you guys the detail that I was talking about before, where you heat this up really good and then hit it with a hose. It just looks really cool. It looks really weathered. Like, here's, look at this here. That's the effect that you get. It looks really cool. It looks like old, it actually looks like old metal. Yeah. So we'll see how it looks when it's painted. But you know, I think it's gonna look pretty neat. I mean, it's actually for what it was and what it's turning into, I think it looks really cool. And I do like this here. I was trying to melt it as much as I could, but I didn't want to put a hole in it. But I do like it because it kind of does look like a pot. Like it was an old pot that's been laying around and so forth. So yeah, it just looks cool. Craft mode engaged. We have the paper down, we're ready to go. That means we're gonna get a little messy. So what you always wanna do, make sure you got your stuff covered, you don't wanna mess up. I got this paper down, I got some cardboard down here. And most importantly, you wanna wear gloves when you do this, because I personally know a guy that was using spray foam and it blew up in his hands and he had it on his hands for like a week. So make sure you wear gloves when you do this. What I did was I found some old Amazon boxes down in my recycling bin, cut them up. Doesn't matter how big you use them. This is just more or less a form for you. So what we're gonna do is take these and kind of adjust them so they go around the cauldron like this. So we're gonna kind of just make like put a bead of tape around it, and we're gonna start taping these around here and basically make a form so that the foam will have somewhere to land, because I need to have an open channel underneath here so that I can put my lighting and so forth. So when we spray, I can reach in here and put in and glue in the individual LED lights into the foam so we get that fire effect. So I'm going to start this now. This next step, you can use clear plastic wrap, you can use plastic sheeting. I use plastic bags. We have a ton of them here and we keep getting them. So what I do is we're just to start putting this down and throw a little bit of a tape on, overlap these onto the product. The reason why I like using these bags is because they get little nooks and crannies, and that's actually good for the lighting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some stuff on the ground, some old rags, old drop cloths on the ground, just so in case any of the foam spills over, it doesn't ruin up my floor in the monster shop. So then we'll get going. I'm going to grab my gloves and we're going to get going. Fun begins. We're going to get our gloves on, get ready to go. That's an extra one in case I need it. Like I said before, you always want to make sure you have gloves on when you're handling this stuff, because you could just throw it out. If you get it on your hands, you're kind of stuck with it for like a week. I'm going to do it down here in the monster shop. I do have some stuff on the ground just in case it spills over, but we're just going to work slow around the base here. Don't worry if it goes over or whatever. We're going to be pulling the tape off eventually when this seals. So what you do want to try to get it around here, and then all the other stuff, underlying stuff, is going to be pulled off, so you don't have to worry about it. But what I'm going to try to do is try to get up around this tape, because this tape kind of stays on. When we're done, we're going to be painting everything black, doing some texture paint on it, so it's not like you have to worry about it getting damaged or above the tape. So now basically this is all just the way you want to do this. So one thing I did want to note, if you do this, try to leave a little bit of gaps in there. You don't have to fully cover it with the foam. You leave little holes in there. That way the light will shine through. So the bigger the hole you have, the bigger the light will shine through. That's what I learned over time. Don't worry about it separating up here, because if it does, it's going to expand, it's going to dry. You could always fill it in again with some more foam. So I'm going to have to run out and get some more foam and revisit this, but I'll be back in a flash. Everything is expanding nicely. What I did want to point out, see how this is kind of flopping down? It's still tacky, so I'm going to pull this back a little bit. Try to pull this back so that it kind of lays flat, you know, because if it doesn't lay flat, it's no good. So I'm going to try to, whoa, shit. While this is getting tacky, I actually went down and found some stuff in the dollar store, you know, props and stuff that I cut out. So what I'm going to do is slowly position them in here. So as you can tell, that looks pretty cool. I'll spray around it. Got a whole bunch of other parts here. Maybe like throw a finger up here in the mix here. Maybe more fingers here. When you're in there, so it looks like a collarbone or whatever that is sticking out there, just so it looks cool. Like over here, maybe. See, you know, I don't want to try to do it uniform, but I think it does look cool with skulls on the bottom. This part we could put up here. All right, everybody, day 2 in the monster shop. I was hoping to get this all done in one day, but unfortunately I started it later in the day, and when I flipped it over to pull the plastic out of the inside, the hole underneath was all sticky. So what I did was I went through and pulled all the plastic off and just threw a fan on it overnight, let everything dry up. Everything is rock hard now. Before we go outside and paint it, I do want to check it out to make sure that it's going to look cool with the nooks and crannies, and make sure the lights are going to go on. So I'm going to grab these lights I got from Amazon. I'll put the link down below in the description. They are really cool. They're really, really not super expensive, and they do the trick. They're for indoor and outdoor use. So we're just going to like quickly throw this in before we start gluing it inside, just as a test. Oh yeah, I think it's going to look really cool. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shut the camera light off so you can see the embers and the glows. Okay, so now you get a quick visual of what we're looking at here. The reason why I'm doing this, just so that you guys can see what it's gonna look like once everything's painted. All the little nooks and crannies, the little holes in there, are gonna have the red light flaming through, so it's gonna appear like it's smoldering in the fire. So you're gonna spray the whole thing black. Doesn't matter, you know, if you miss a cranny or two, that's fine. It doesn't matter if you paint the bones, because you're gonna over paint them later on. So I just quickly give it a quick shot. You want to make sure it's all nice and covered as best as you can. I'll paint it up, ready to go. This is what it's gonna look like, just so you all have a reference. So if you see some of these crannies are not covered with paint, there's a specific reason for that. That way the light will shine through. But other than that, that's what you're looking for. Let me give you a quick 360. But yeah, it looks good so far. I gave the top just a quick spray, just to get rid of any type of foam that I had on it. We're gonna let it dry, and then we'll go to round 2, the next step. All right, everybody, we are back in the monster shop right now. We're gonna do some dry brushing on this thing. What I landed up doing was I actually did paint it in flat black, but after it dried, I really didn't care for the dullness of it, so I used a satin black. It's a little bit shiny, but I'm hoping that, you know, once I dry brush it with the white paint, you know, when I put the lighting in, the lights will have a little bit of shine to it. But we'll see how it goes. If not, I can always paint it back black, flat black. But so what we're gonna do is I got my rags here for the dry brushing. Acrylic white paint works great. You know, you got your brushes and so forth. So we're just gonna go through and you know, dab everything up with the white, make it look like ash. You know, so we want to make sure it's a, you know, a dry brush. So now we're going to do the dry brushing. All it consists of is, you know, dipping your paintbrush in the paint, taking a rag here, You know, just try to get all the paint, heavy paint off of it. And what you want to do is just basically randomly with your brush hit some of the areas so it looks like it's kind of ashy. Gotta be careful you don't hit the cauldron, but this actually does look really cool, a cool effect when you're done. Now with the skull, the skulls that we have, we're just gonna kind of do the same effect too. They will be covered in ash, so we'll be doing the same type of effect. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're doing some highlights and lowlights. So when you're using the brush, you want to make sure that you're getting in the areas nicely. You want to leave some dark spots open. You want to leave, if you see, just for shadowing and so forth. But other than that, I think it's looking really, really, really cool. You want to make sure you get all sides. So step back here and there, take a look at it. If you put too much paint on a certain area, you could always re-hit it, or if you come back around and you see that you put too much on, or like just dab it around, you might want to make it look more white or a little bit more darker. So fade out some of these thicker areas that you have more paint on it. So it's pretty much up to you as to like what your own personal preference is. All right, everybody, that does the trick for the first layer. We're gonna put the second layer on now, and then we'll be done with this part of the project. We'll let it dry, and then we'll start the lighting later on and button her up. All right, everybody, I think that's about it for the paint project. I think we're good. I like the way it looked. I like the highlights, the lowlights. It just looks pretty kick-ass to me. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to let it dry for a little bit. I'm going to get the fan on it for maybe a couple minutes to maybe an hour or so. Come back and we're going to start on the lighting. And then after that, we're pretty much done. Okay, everybody, so this is the last part. I went through, I just nicked this up. I could fix this, but I drilled out these holes here, and I drilled out these holes here. What I did here was went on the inside, and I found some, where the holes are going to go here, and drill them out. As you can tell back over here, this is where I am actually gluing the wires for the lights into the back of this area. So what I'm going to do, rather than bore you guys, I'm going to go through and actually glue all these little spots in here, and these holes and crannies, just fill them up with all the lights, and then I will reach back out once they're all glued up. I'll show you exactly what it looks before I turn it on inside. But I figure since I'm trying to make a shorter video this time, I won't have to bore you. So I decided just to take a quick halfway point check-in to see progress for you guys. It's looking really cool, guys. Like, I gotta tell you. I don't want to give you the outside view yet because I think it's really cool. So, so just so you know, this is how it works. You basically take your line here and find an area that you think has a valley in it. Like for example here. and you either push it in a little bit, and then I just zap it with a little bit of glue in here, and then it shows the other side. It's looking really cool. So I'm gonna finish this up, and then I'll show you guys the final product. Hey everybody, the project is done, ready to be lit up. Quick project. I loved doing it. It was so much fun. It looks great. I really love the touch of the skulls in the front. It actually, with the texturing, it turned out awesome. So I'm gonna go fire it up really quick so you guys can see what it looks like lit up. No, it's got a really cool look to it. Hats off to my wife, I'm telling you, man. Like, she did a great job suggesting to put the lights in the skulls. Like, you know, it actually adds like a little creepy factor to it. I really like the way it goes. These lights have different modes. You can change the modes to a flash or, you know, fade up, fade down, and so forth. I'm not going to go through them all, but I kind of like this one here. What I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to shut off the ring light on my camera, so that you guys could check to see what it looks like without the blinding camera light in your face. Now check it out at night. It looks really cool. I mean, it's kind of still bright in here, but it's actually looking really, really, really awesome. You know, all these voids are like coming through. It really shows off the detail and everything. So I'm gonna just quickly zip through this, give you guys a quick 360 with the light off so you can take a look at it, and then we'll finish up. All right, everybody, that about does it for the Witches Cauldron. Quick, fun project, stuff I had laying around. I think we went through like 5 cans of spray foam, which is $4 or $5 a piece, so it really wasn't that expensive. The lights on Amazon were cheap too, so it was a quick project. It's really cool. I mean, especially if you had like a witch animatronic or something really, really like large, like a, you know, creepy, I guess, creepy witch or whatever. So I actually have one. I have like a 9.5 witch animatronic that I will be fixing. It doesn't turn, but maybe that's a project down the road. So the cool thing about this is it's pretty much made to be outside. You could keep this outside. The lights are actually made for outdoor use as well. I would just wrap up the plug and stuff like that, but everything else could be outside. It's not going to get damaged. So cool outdoor prop. All right, that about wraps it up. Thank you very much for supporting the channel by watching these videos. Again, thank you all for the new subscribers. I really appreciate your support. If you guys have any questions on something I did on the video that you're not sure how I did it, or you know, maybe have a suggestion, please drop a line either in the comments on YouTube, or you can go to my Facebook page and drop a comment for me there as well. I'll try my best to answer them for you as soon as possible. So thank you again. If you guys want to support the channel, make sure to stop by my website and pick up a hoodie or a t-shirt. I'm going to do some other things in the near future. I also have some Halloween designs that I just put up on my website as well. Some of them are really cool. I actually picked them out for myself to wear too. So you'll see them on the channel very soon once they come in. Also, if you guys want 10% off on your order, make sure to throw in code MONSTERSHOP at checkout and get yourself 10% off. I should be having some other discounted shirts on my website soon. Once we get into summer, a little bit closer to Halloween, I'm going to throw some deals out there. So again, thank you very much for joining. It means the world. Happy haunting.